shot back into this, but already looking towards that A site. Rotations are on the way.
Looking invested. It's a big pace change here. Sadak gets ahead of it, does get revealed by the knife though. And that's it, tag on Pancada. He's gonna be feeling so much pressure, but he found a kill. Victor's down.
Pancada's just standing in the open, taking the fight! And Loud take the round, 15 to 13!
It's no secret that Loud were absolutely god tier when it comes to defending on Ascent. In their Champions run, they only lost the one round on defense across 3 games versus Zeta Division and Optic before once again facing Optic on Ascent in the grand final, where they were able to defend their way from a 5-7 deficit to force overtime and eventually win it out. So what made their defense such an impenetrable fortress that teams couldn't break? In this video, I want to discuss their team comp, how Loud were able to find so much value on their defensive side, and also any adjustments that Optic made before their grand final rematch. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with team comp, and notably, they never changed it throughout their Champions run. Their team consisted of Omen, Sova, KO, Killjoy as the meta pick, and that leaves the op and entry role to be nicely filled by Jet. Let's begin with Omen. Omen excels on smaller maps such as Split, Bind, and naturally Ascent. He's able to smoke anywhere from almost any position, barring the deepest of corners. There are plenty of ratty spots he can teleport into with Shadow Step or his ult, clearing it or getting great lurks or flanks. Paranoia down long channels to set up plays for his teams or delay aggression. And of course, the best part of his smokes are the one-ways. There are so many spots where he can get insane value from his one-ways, making it so difficult for the other team to aggress without either burning time or forcing out util. Moving on to the initiators, and we'll start with Sova. Because there are a lot of small walls, it's very safe for him to drone over and get fast and a lot of information. The map is quite windy, but the best and most useful part is because there are a lot of 50-50 angles on Ascent, and being able to clear those out without the need to face check means taking space, executes, and retakes are way more successful. Ascent has a lot of overhanging features or high walls surrounding the map, as well as ways to actually capitalize on this. Because of this fact, you're able to get sick value from a single recon, because if it pings, there aren't too many spots where they could be hiding, and it's just a process of elimination, knowing where your recon doesn't cover. Shock darts and his ult are a fantastic counter for the meta pick of Killjoy, as well as it just being great chip or post-plant utility. Overall, a very solid choice on Ascent. Next up, everyone's favourite talking toaster, KO. Plenty of low walls and windows for flash setups for executes and retakes. Also, this was pre-nerf, so he arguably still had the best pop flash in the game. Because the map is very compact and windy, his 0 point covers a lot of space too, gaining heaps of information about where people are playing as well as the suppression effect. His fragment covers the entire choke on A and B, and also a fantastic tool to break Killjoy ults. Null Command is just a fantastic execute and retake tool, and also it hard counters Killjoy. Now onto the meta pick, Killjoy. She hasn't seen as much play since when Chamber was introduced, but damn, Loud sure show off her effectiveness on Ascent. Due to the map being quite small and her ability to cover a lot of space with her utility, it allows her and team more freedom around the map. With a single turret outside B main, it can cover B main, short, and mid cross, and the only way to destroy it is to be really exposed, and the longer it's up, the more value you're getting, allowing you to abuse the map control you've garnered. Her alarm bot is usually placed on short or mid, depending on where Killjoy is playing, but a turret on switch can also cover the market cross as well as B main. Nano swarms for hard delay, or if you love lineups, and if you can predict where Jet is going to dash on the execute and put nano swarms there, it can really force them into having to move out of their cover early. Lockdown can cover the entire bomb site just about for both executes and retakes, except a couple of corners on each, but can be comboed to be dealt with, usually with a Sova or lineups. If you have control of switch on B and they're stuck on site, this ult isn't wall bangable and they're forced to push into you. All that is really left is the hard entry and upper roll, which is where last but not least, Jet comes in. Teams have tried to make the no duelist work on Ascent, and while they do decent on defense, just struggle to get the job done on offense. And even though Chamber is so busted, he lacks the explosive burst and chaos creation that a good Jet can provide. Otherwise, on paper, they're kinda similar. Fantastic with the op, push up, get one, cannot be traded mechanic, and an eco ultimate. However, there are a lot more plays and combos that can utilize the Jet. His tiles push, quick dash onto switch to close the door, quick aggression into A main coupled with the KO flash, that play with the smoke and the fade into A main can in theory be done with a Jet too. So how did Loud dominate the defensive side? Well, turns out when you don't lose many rounds, there aren't that many rounds to go over. But 2 big rounds of each half are the pistol and the bonus. So let's go through those. Let's take a look at their pistol round setups. In Game 1 vs Theta, they've gone for a more B-side presence, having 3 members over towards the Killjoy utility, with the remaining 2 in tree, ready to give up the site and play for the retake, but allowing them potentially get chip damage as Zeta look to come through. Les has opted to not get the alarm bot and instead a ghost, since there is more coverage towards B. Take a look at Aspas over towards B main. He's looking to get aggressive and take the fight to Zeta, potentially get a pick and be able to dash back to safety. Similar to the second time they versed Zeta, Aspas is once again looking to get aggressive, this time in A main with Pancada ready to throw out his paranoia and Sassy with his recon to assist. Because there are only 2 towards B this time, Les has opted for an alarm bot with his turret being able to watch B main and market. Zeta in both games looked 5-man rush A, but spoiler alert, it doesn't go that well for them. In Game 1, although they're able to get the spike down, they take a lot of chip damage and even give away first blood as they enter site, with Loud grouping up and playing the retake together as a 5v4. And in Game 2, a team flash, botched shock dart, and awesome paranoia from Pancada later, they're just unable to get past Aspas, who ends up farming them. Compare this to when they versed Optic in the upper final. It's a 4-stack over towards A, where the Killjoy is also playing, and Aspas is no longer looking to get aggressive in either A or B main, perhaps showing Optic a little more respect and not wanting to give away first blood. KO is playing in market solo, where he will throw his knife and instantly rotate over towards A, and off no real fast aggression, makes his way back to market, ready to fall back and play the retake, should he contact with anyone. The 3 members of Loud that are on site are all deep, playing off this cross turret, and Sassy playing from tree is also able to shock dart the choke, delaying and chipping any members from Optic as they try to enter site, which is also the exact cue for Aspas to swing as they'll be scrambling. Finally, for this round, take a look at Pancada's smoke here. They're so deep and hidden, it allows Loud to reposition safely and potentially have someone swing out from heaven. Because Optic lack the fast gap closers, they're unable to punish Loud for such a greedy smoke, as it essentially gives them the front of sight and would allow them too to get out and reposition safely, having to worry about 2 less angles. You'll see a similar smoke like this used a lot on C-Site Haven, allowing for repositions and outplays. On to the bonus rounds, and less of the setups and more of the strategy. In all 3 of these games, Loud are all about taking away space early, as you want to get as close as you can to the enemies with weaker guns. This is usually on the back of Aspas, who has either hero bought or carried over a rifle from round 2. In Game 1, Loud make an aggressive play into tiles, committing a lot to the space, and although the call from Zeta is to quickly rotate towards A, they're too hesitant and burn a lot of map control over towards Loud, which allows them to collapse on them. In Game 2, Aspas has an op and completely shuts down B main. With their flashes gone, Zeta have no option but to follow the drone, as they've lost the ability to move Aspas off an angle and they get destroyed in mid. And in the Optic game, Aspas has taken a lot of space with Sassy in B main and posted up in an off angle, while Sadhack and Pancada have pushed out of A. Loud managed to get the first 2 kills and secure a rifle, and in a 5v3 secure the bonus. So what adjustments did Optic make for their grand final rematch on Ascent? Well, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and after Loud pumped Optic in the upper final, Optic changed their team comp to match that of Loud's, especially given it didn't even originally work versus Ascent, who run the same comp as Loud in the upper semis. Secondly, cast your mind back to the other games where I said Loud play really deep, or entrenched positions if you will, wherever the killjoy is, with the other members playing just off a bit more, giving away the site, getting some chip damage, and happy to play the retake. So what do Optic do? They take mid control. A recon dart on the back of this arch clears out all the close corners, a 0 point onto market for information, and a smoke short to allow safer passage into mid. And just like that, they have taken control of mid. Now, it's uber risky for either KO or Killjoy to peek out, since they have no info on how many members of Optic could be waiting for them if they were to swing. So Sad Hat gets ready to pop flash as Optic are grouping up around short, with Marv waiting in A main. A big 0 point from Sad Hat tags 3, and combined with the jump peaks mid, confirms they're more likely up short, which forces Killjoy to rotate over. Ye is unable to dash and gets first blooded, but some real unfortunate timing from Pancada as he's forced to watch A main since they have no cover of it, and he gets mesmerized by the initiator's jiggling and gets nothing for his efforts. Crashies opens up tree with 2 very nice kills and Optic flood onto A. However, FNS is unable to cross with the spike. The drone sees all 3 members and the call is to just wait, keep baiting attention and let Marv make the magic happen, which he does and secures pistol round for Optic. Round 18 and Loud are getting aggressive into A main, while Optic are looking for a split B execute. After contact from Marv by a KO flash over the wall, it's likely there is at least one other person there with him, and the call is to split B. You can really see the benefit of having a jet here. Ye is able to dash onto switch and take a lot of space, and although Sassy is able to get one, he's forced to jump back down onto site to avoid getting traded or overwhelmed. The rest of Optic flood out and are able to take site, though not without losing another 2 members. Left in a 2v3, Marv gets a massive kill onto Sad Hat trying to cross. A 1-4-1 from Crashies leaves Marv to expertly juke Pancada and burn down the clock. And even though he eventually dies, there isn't enough time for the defuse to come through and Optic reach double digits. Now, there were some other notable rounds, like that one where Ye gets behind them through tree, or that other one where Ye gets behind them through tree. But in reality, he made a lot of footsteps, and some pros were saying that it's really hard to hear footsteps up on stage, so I don't want to take too much away from Loud here. Interestingly, the rounds that Optic did manage to crack Loud's defense, that also wasn't versing an eco, was when they took space through mid, either going out through market or making a play in tree. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. Until next time, see ya!